Hey guys, Battle Dad here again. I thought I'd shoot a quick video with my impressions of the KTM 1290 Super Adventure. I've got about 1500 miles on this bike now. So if you're watching this video, you'll likely know about all of the features and benefits that come with this bike. 160 brake horsepower, multiple driving modes, engine modes, multiple damping modes. Thank you very much indeed, that was very kind. He actually held up to run me through there, which was quite nice. Had to kind of catch him in his mirror. I was trying to watch his face to see what he was doing as the indicator came on. And then he braked, so as soon as he started waving like a maniac, I took that as my cue rather than anything I was picking up from the car. So 160 brake horsepower, 4 engine modes, 4 damping modes. Rain and off-road modes will bring it down to 100 brake horsepower and kind of smooth the throttle out a little bit. It's got semi-active suspension. It's got all the comforts of heated grips, heated seats for rider and pillion. It's got linked ABS, it's got cornering ABS. None of which I've tried out, thankfully. I don't particularly want to, but nice to know they're there. And what I will say though is you can tell the difference between the engine modes and the damping modes almost immediately. They are very distinct. Sport mode, for example, and I've literally only put it in sport mode yesterday, even though 1500 miles on the bike. The thing is a maniac, an absolute maniac. It is like a big sports bike, basically, just with more comfort and I think better ability to control it, given the wide handlebars, and better view. So you can get around things that come at you at warp speed. So I have to say, I absolutely love the bike. So you don't need to watch to the end to get that much. I absolutely love it. I've put a few mods on, a few orange kind of bling bits, as you can kind of see here. Got the brake levers, clutch levers, which are quite nice, adjustable, really good. A few of the orange kind of caps on. I also stuck a Remus can on. The Remus hexacone. It's like a black carbon effect can, and it sounds lush. It's got a lovely noise to it, and everyone's commenting on it actually. My GS friends, my 1600 GT friends, and some of my KTM friends are quite liking it. So the Remus hexacone without the baffle in, absolute stunner, absolutely stunning, love it. Other bits and pieces on there, which is great. And if you've got a Zumo or even a TomTom, there's a new piece of software you can get called My Travel app. I'll try to put a link below and see if I can get you a discount code. But My Travel app is awesome. It uses Google technology, but then also has a custom built export function, which will automatically load that track to your sat-nav. And the great thing about that is you go in and you go to the tracks and you tell it you want a new route from that track. It'll ask you whether you want to go front to back or back to front. And that's it. So you can actually choose your route with all of the flexibility that Google lets you with the kind of drag and drop. Get it on your sat nav and away you go. awesome. And you can, because it's online, it's like a SaaS kind of solution, you can actually use it from anywhere, and you can use it on Windows and Mac, which is great. So it's from the guys who used to do Tire to Travel. That Tire was good, but a bit clunky now. This new one, they've really outshone themselves. You can add friends as well and share routes with friends, which is pretty cool. And then if you're going to some destination, you can also pick up routes from people from that area who have actually started to populate routes around there. So that's pretty trick as well. And that will only get better as the community gets bigger. So I'd recommend having a look at that. The other thing I like about the 590 is the new Garmin software allows you to choose curvy roads as an option. It used to be you had fastest route and kind of avoid motorways, that kind of thing. But you can now specifically choose curvy roads, and it chooses roads that are reasonably quick, still have some nice bends in them. Their algorithm seems to be quite clever, and I found some new roads on routes that I know quite well. So that's been quite good. The other thing which I've put on this bike, which is kind of blasphemy, get that, but I put a set of Adventure Designs pegs on, the highway pegs. Stuck them onto my crash bars, and I don't know if you can kind of see them down there. But when you're doing kind of 500, 600, 700 mile days, even with this KTM seat, which is really good, you can get a bit of numb bum, and you're going to find yourself shifting around. So those pegs are phenomenal. You can just kind of kick them out. Either put the sole of your foot on it or get your calf on it, kind of stick your boot over it. And the difference it makes, the relief and the blood flow you get, kind of keeps you going for a bit, which is really nice. The other thing I've put on are a set of Puig, whatever the hell you call it, Puig, trail pegs. Now these trail pegs, if you're going to put them on, make sure you have a look at some videos on YouTube. There's a little knack to catching the retainer spring. Is that a retaining spring? It's the one that kind of sends it back to its original position. There's a trick to kind of holding that with vice grips, holding it in place with the vice grips while you get it fitted. And it can be a bit fiddly, particularly on the side with your rear brake on, because you've got to loosen that rear brake to get the retaining bolt pin out of the standard peg. And the thing is, you don't want to take out the torque screw that is through the frame, because that's not going to do you any good. That's got a bolt, a nut behind it as well that you can't really get to. What you want to do is there's a kind of jointed socket with a little kind of ball joint in it, and say hello to the locals. A little ball joint in it that connects up to the other gubbins for the rear brake. And if you remove the little Torx bolt from that, then you just kind of shove it out of the way. The rear brake pedal comes up, and you can get that the retaining bolt for the peg out, which actually works quite well then. All goes back together quite quickly. But I'd recommend them. I did see somewhere someone said that they were like power steering for your bike, and seriously, they are superb. I haven't taken them off road yet, but I've tested them on the road. And when you have that much space for your foot, the leverage you can get is phenomenal. So you can literally steer the bike with your feet now a lot more easy. So if you see the way this is kind of tilting the bike now, that's literally just me pushing down on the pegs without a stupid amount of effort. And that makes such a big bike feel all the more nimble. And I'd imagine when I get off road and you're kind of trying to get the rear tyre planted into a bit of sand or a bit of mud or whatever, that's going to work really well. So I'd also recommend them. I'll see if we can stick a link in for those. Now I've still got a couple of bits and pieces to go onto the bike. So I've got the Denali sound bomb, which needs to go on. I've got the Cyclops LED lights, which need to go on. I've got the Clearwater Ericas, which need to go on. They're about 6,000 lumens each. Quite expensive at 600 odd pounds for a pair. But I'd imagine they're going to be quite good. I say I've got them to buy. I have to buy them. They're in the shopping basket at the moment. I know. I'm umming and ahhing. I've been looking at other things, Rigid Industries and what have you, but it doesn't seem that anything gets close to the Ericas. And in Clearwater have the Savinas, which are one above that as well, which I think might be overkill for the road, but the Ericas look like they're phenomenal. The reason I was looking at these is I did get the KTM factory option auxiliary lights, but I was out doing a bit of off-road in North Wales over Easter weekend, and thanks to Garmin's curvy roads, I ended up out on tiny little back roads trying to get back to the hotel in the middle of the night in stormy weather, and I just couldn't see a thing. So there were no lights anywhere around, and I just couldn't see anything. It was at kind of 20-30 miles an hour. It didn't help that my visor was fogging up on this C3 Pro, even though it's got a pin lock as standard. But I bought a new one. Put a new visor, and actually I'm seeing at the end of it here that I'm still getting a little bit of fogging at the end, so I'm going to need to take that out, turn the retaining pins a little bit and see if I can lock that back in place, because that is just annoying. You really want to be able to see in the rain and not get fogged up so bad that you're essentially blind. But the lights, the standard lights in the bike are god awful. The additional auxiliary lights are helpful, but to be honest, my experience is, for 350 quid, not really worth it. The most you're going to get out of it is daytime visibility, because they're of a certain shade that do kind of draw the eye. They don't blind drivers or anything, but they certainly do draw the eye. But I've taken to wearing high vis all the time anyway, because, well, you're bloody invisible most of the time, even on a big bike like this with LEDs on the front. And I'm not a small chap either. I'm kind of 6'1" and 15 stone. But still, I seem to be invisible to certain drivers. So anything that makes you more visible is good. So I guess it's all relative. Is 350 quid worth keeping you rubber side down? Probably, in the grand scheme of things. But if you want to see at night with them as well, limited use, I would say. So had I known what I know now, I'd probably have been looking at aftermarket very early on. So I'm going to pull the trigger on a set of aftermarket auxiliary lights, and I think it's going to be the Clearwater Ericas, because they seem to be bang for buck, pretty much the best lights that could go on a bike. They've got a very modest 60-watt draw for 6,000 lumens each, and that's 60 watts each. So if I do go and grab them, I'm sure to put a review video up and show you exactly what they're like. Oh, come on, get off the road. These pheasants are the most stupid animals ever. Other than that, I've put Trax Adventure boxes, left, right and top, and they're awesome. Very rugged, very well made. Lots of space in them. Waterproof. Look really good in black. Powder coated black, really good quality. Let's crack on for an overtake here. Let's go and have a look. Take that. Thank you. Sorry, just keeping an eye on pheasants in the ditch running out across the road surface, bends, traffic, all that good stuff. The other thing I put on here actually are the twisted throttle mirror extenders. And they should really be the first mod you do on your bike if you're going to change something. Getting those mirrors up and out past your shoulders so you can kind of see stuff around you is phenomenal. And they're really good, really, really good. Which way to go. So you can carry on to Build and down, or you can run over Garth and into Brecon that way. I think we're going to go Upper Chapel because it's a little bit quicker too. I can get back and cook breakfast before Battle of Woman, Battle Kid get back from swimming. Plus there are spectacular views up here. Those mirror wideners are great. Really do the job for cheap. They're not expensive. But again, bang for buck. What a great modification. My rear tyre is holding, thankfully. It's a good place to be. Warning. It's a military firing range up here. In there's a bit of stuff in the middle of that road that your front wheel can grab and track you around. It's like a ridge of concrete. Something dropped at some point. So I also added the KTM tank bag. Excuse me. So I also added a KTM tank bag, which is reasonably good, but it's not waterproof. It does come with a waterproof cover, but again, just quite expensive. It doesn't quite do the job. I hate having to put covers on things. It's just fiddly, this day and age you kind of expect materials to be utilised. They're available, So would it have broken the bank to put a bit of Gore-Tex on it? Probably not. Maybe I need to invent the Battle Dad tank bag. Gore-Tex liners. Looks like we have got military up here today. The red flag up. Can't really see much when it's foggy. Usually you can see to the curve of the earth up here. That's kind of a bit foggy and crap, really. Up there is where you find all that stuff that goes bang. Keep away from that. Truth is, I don't know how much of this you're allowed to explore. Never mind. So, other than that, I like fettling with bikes as well, and cars. Cars got quite a bit done to it as well. I like personalising them. But this bike is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And you know, impressions of these tyres, yeah, they're good. They're really good. They're giving me lots of confidence. Now the pressures are right. It's a good place to be. I mean, they're fine in these corners. People were saying they kind of get a bit weird. I think they're absolutely fine. You do sit up quite high, but they're quite nimble. You know, they'll turn pretty quick. You have to watch out for kind of squaring off and then see what they're like as they fall over onto the edge of the tire. People are getting People are getting anywhere between 7,000 and 12,000 miles a pair, and even then the front is kind of still going. Depends on what the riding is like that you do, how you ride, and where you ride. But the difficult thing to do for tyre manufacturers is give you grip on and off road, and then give you grip or longevity, and give you wet or dry grip. And these things just seem to be in a league of their own. And they're cheap too. Like 65 quid for a front tyre and 95 for a rear tyre. And they seem to do it all. So we'll keep an eye on how they progress. But yeah, that's it. KTM 1290 Super Adventure. Absolute beast. Very comfortable, very practical. Insanely powerful. It does anything you want it to. Which you just can't beat, really. I know I wanted one from the minute I saw it. And I do get attracted by big numbers, you know, the GS on paper was the bike to have, because it does a bit of everything. But this thing, actually, I think what the GS people say, well, most of them are GS owners, say the GS is better off-road. But actually, the kind of off-road I do, just the odd fire road here and there, bit of a muddy field now and again. This thing is just ridiculously good. It does everything I need it to. It's certainly a better bike than I am a rider. I've lots of room to grow into it before I'd be able to tell the difference, I think. That said, I haven't used the GS much, certainly not off-road, but I like having the power and the torque there on the road. It's the reason I went for big bikes. So the 1200 XC Triumph Tiger before this, and then the 1400 Kawasaki ZZR. And before that, this kind of torque is really where it's at for travelling. This thing lets you kind of go a bit off-road as well. If you spot a road kind of like this one, you can go and have a look if you want to, which is quite nice. I like that kind of flexibility. If there's anything I'd change on the bike, anything I don't like, screen could be a little bit taller for someone my height, but I guess that's just a clip-on piece on the top, and then kind of see what that does. Anything else I'd change? Not really. I'm struggling. Can't think of other things I don't like. And even then, I'm being picky with the screen. I'm very picky. One thing about the pre-sales. KTM do offer a heated ergo seat, which I ordered. Only for the dealer then to tell me that it doesn't work on this bike. KTM are still offering it for sale. Something to do with the electronics not liking the loom, which I think is from the 1190. For some reason it doesn't talk to this bike properly. So now what I've got is the heated standard seat, and I've also got the ergo seats for summer. But ideally, I would just like the heated ergo seats to work. There's another reason why your slow speed riding comes in handy. Crap on the road. My tyres for, I guess. But other than that, all good. It's definitely got a 9 out of 10 for me. If it wasn't just for the niggles, and even then I'm being picky. It's things like the tire, and not being sure what's going on there. But actually, just when it's right and when you ride it, awesome bike, absolutely awesome bike, and I highly recommend it. Sorry, just making sure I don't sideswipe that cyclist while I'm recording. Joking. I cycle too. Anyway, thanks for listening. Battle Dad over and out until next time. See ya.